What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna be ranking every house at this year's Halloween Horror Nights from worst to best. I said I was gonna get this video out sometime after the official vlog. This is my first video since the vlog, so yeah, what houses were the best, what houses were the worst of this event. Number 10 was Museum. Usually I say every house was great. I loved every house, but this one it wasn't my favorite. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a good house. I'll say it's a good house. It wasn't what I would hoped. I heard great things about it, and I was hoping it would live up to those things, but it didn't, and very disappointing house. 9 through 10 is where we get to the great houses. There are some amazing houses this year. Number 9 is Goblin's Feast. I had a great time with this house. I enjoyed it a lot. A few of the scares got me. It was beautiful. I love the new tent locations they used. This house was really good. No, these were the new location. Where is that? I'm trying to remember. Yes, these are the new locations. Okay. Yes, this is a really fun house. I had so much fun in it. It's just 8 houses are better than it. Number 8 is Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodlines. This and Goblin's Feast were kind of going back and forth on which one I liked more. I ended up choosing Eternal Bloodlines more because it's Universal Monsters. It's always good. It's beautiful. Had some great scares. It just wasn't as good as the other Universal Monsters. The expectations I had for this house were a lot higher than what they ended up being. But this house is really phenomenal. The best part is the sets. This was a beautiful house. The only house that had no outdoor facade when it comes to like the tent, but it had a beautiful indoor facade. This house is beautiful. Number 7 is Major Sweets Candy Factory. I went through this house 2 times. And the second time, the guest activated trigger hit them. Nothing, it didn't really affect the house for me. It's just something I wanted to bring up. But I liked this house. It was fun. I had a good time in it. Wasn't that scary compared to the other ones, but I had a good time in it. Really enjoyable. It had great smells in it, obviously, and I liked the story. The Major Sweets, Laura coming back. I had a great time in it. Number 6 is A Quiet Place. Yeah. There's a lot to say about this. Number 1, the sound, or the no sound, whatever you want to say, is amazing. Love how quiet the house is. They did it perfectly. I didn't know how they were going to do it, but the way they did it was perfect. It's a beautiful house. The animatronics and puppets are great. The one thing that brings it down, it was not scary. I got scared maybe once in this house. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm the person that gets scared a lot. And this house really didn't scare me. Again, a great house. Loved it, but it just didn't deliver on the scares. Number 5 is Triplets of Terror. I kind of just changed tones. I just had to get serious for how I felt about Quiet Place. But number 5 is Triplets of Terror. I had a great one through of this house. Got all the scares. I loved it. This house was so good. I heard so much people hating on it. I enjoyed it. I loved the slasher vibe. I think this was an amazing house. Got so much hate after Team Member Preview Night, but it could be I just had an amazing run through, but I loved this house. It was great. Great scares. Got scared a ton in this house. I loved it. Number 4 is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This was number 1 on my hype list, and it delivered. I loved it. It was cold in the house. If you've been to HHN on a hot day, you know how great that is. But the Garaka, the actors were great. They did this every scene you want from that movie is in the movie. Like, it's perfectly accurate to the movie. It's accurate, it's great. Obviously, it's not as scary as the other ones, but I still had a great time in it. And I loved it. Number 3. I've been talking about how the past few houses weren't that scary. Number 3 is Insidious. Insidious is a different case. It is terrifying. It's one of the things I love about this house. This house was terrifying. Horrifying. I can't look at the Insidious movies the same way. I was terrified in this house. I'm still terrified of it. This house was terrifying. It was beautiful, perfectly done. If you're an Insidious fan, even if you're just a Halloween Horror Nights fan, you're gonna love this house. This house was so good. And it was so scary. I loved it. Alright. These top 2. These houses were amazing. And again, all these houses were good. I know I was talking bad on Museum, but they're all good. The scare actors work so hard. They do so good on their jobs. I didn't hate any of the houses. These 2, though, I loved. Starting off with my number 2, Monstros, the Monsters of Latin America. I love this house. I didn't go to Hollywood's house last year, but from what I've heard, from what I've seen, this house lived up to the hype. It's beautiful. It's scary. It's everything you could ask for. It was so good. They had some of the scenes from Hollywood. I'm not complaining. Hollywood was the best house of that year, and it made this house so good. This house is amazing. I loved it. It kind of, in a way, goes with... It's kind of similar to how they do Universal Monsters. You know, you have different sections, and it's different monsters, but it was amazing. I loved it. Number 1, Slaughter Cinema 2. I loved it. This house was amazing. You probably can tell this from the Halloween Horror Nights vlog. I was loving it in the vlog. This house was so good. I didn't go through the first Slaughter Cinema house, and I was upset about that. And I was thinking, oh, there's no way this one was without hype. And from what I saw, obviously this means absolutely nothing because videos don't do the houses justice. From what I saw, I thought Slaughter Cinema was overrated. I thought the first Slaughter Cinema house was overrated. When I went through this one, if it's anything like how this one was, I was wrong. This house was so good. Anyway, that's my rankings. Now I want to look at my original hype list and just see how certain things went from like a 9 to a 3. In this case being Insidious the Further. It's a house I just want to talk about in this scenario. I had it at 9. It was 9 on my hype list. Alright, so Ghostbusters was 1. That only went to 4. Still an amazing house. Slaughter Cinema was 2. That went to 1. Monstros was like 3 or 4. That went to 2. A Quiet Place was, I think, like 4. Went to 6. Not that big of a jump. But the one that went the furthest was 9 to 3. Insidious the Further. This house just exceeded expectations. If I can tell you to do... If you had one house I would tell you to go through, it's Insidious the Further. I can't stress enough how good this house is. The way I'm talking about, you would think it's my number 1, but it's just... It's so good. Like, these last 3 houses, like the 1, 2, and 3, were just so good. I can't pick a number 1. Insidious, Monstros, and Slaughter Cinema, all 3 amazing houses, and you can't just pick one. They were all so good. So scary, so beautiful. Everything you want from a Halloween Horror Nights house, it is in these 3. That's all my yap about those 3 houses. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your hype ranking or your rankings of the house in the comment, or hype list if you haven't gone yet. Your list of houses. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.